fighting is easier from outside the cage, which always makes you wonder, why would one go back inside the cage? Tonight's theme for Verbal Tap. I am your host, Kevin. With me, of course, Raph Esparza, but I have put him on motherfucking mute because breaking news. BJ Penn has signed with not one, but like a multi-fight, I thought the number was 5-fight deal with the UFC, surpassing my wildest expectations. Here, longtime friend of the podcast, to talk out that decision. None other than Hawaiian's favorite son, American black belt in BJJ legend, BJ Penn. BJ, you're fighting again? Come on, man.
I don't know. I think so, yeah. Like, Dana came up to me, and Dana was like, you shouldn't fight anymore. And I remember one of my best advices that I gave to myself was never to listen to what Dana White said. So I guess I should fight more, yeah?
No, I don't think you should. Shouldn't you be done?
Well, if I'm being honest, I almost thought I would never have to come on the show again. So I thought that I could retire from coming on the show. But then I had to dust off my voice to come back on here. And at first I was like, oh, do I even remember how to talk? And yeah, I do. So yeah, I guess I'm going to fight. I guess it's going to be me and Ryan Hall. And, I thought that was it. But no, the people, the public, they demand it.
Hey, do they? Which people? I'm sorry.
Okay. Fair point. Yeah. They tell me that people like humans, mammals. Mm-hmm. I think they went up to like a rhinoceros or something, and they said like, "Would you like to see BJ Pie?" And then the rhinoceros was like, and so I think they count that as a yes. Also, I'm pretty sure they just they have like a mobile app game.
Counted as
yeah,
it's definitely a maybe. Well,
do you not? No, it's definitely a.
BJ, you're going to be physically okay to fight?
Oh, definitely no, but
okay, that's well. At least we're there.
I mean, Kev, what's really wrong with me wanting to go fight, especially when you get like a Chuck Liddell. He's a legend too, bro.
Oh,
and they let
God,
him
we're
fight.
going to talk about that. Yeah, thank you for the foreshadow. BJ, go to bed. This is me saying go to bed professionally and right now. Verbal Tap fans, longtime legend, current MMA prospect for the UFC, BJ Penn.
I mean, at what point am I not a prodigy anymore? Anyway, where's my bed? I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
All right. Stay out of the ocean.
Walk me back
tonight.
to where my home is.
Oh, no. Come
Excuse
on.
me.
Oh, I'm getting that look from Verbal Tap Legal again.
Oh, okay.
I see what everybody's talking about. Look, Verbal Tap fans, BJ Penn, the one and only. I'm going to go. Oh, okay. He is hung up. I'm going to bring in Raph Esparza. Raph, how are you doing this evening?
I'm okay. How are you?
This still sound.
It's
BJ,
still me, BJ.
Off the fucking line.
I thought I hung up.
I thought you did too. That's why it's funny when you answer.
No, can you hang up and then that way I know that you hung up instead of me?
No, I'm doing a podcast. I have a whole show to do.
Okay.
I told you to come in at the end. You insisted on the beginning. I said, not a good idea. There's a lot of moving parts. You know what you said?
No.
I don't remember exactly either, but something about it's okay, brah. And I said, don't brah me. Look.
That sounds about like something I would say, but what does it say about you and concussion syndromes if you can't remember either? Okay, where am I? Okay, bye everybody for real this time.
BJ.
I'm retired from the show again. Bye everybody.
Look, it's no joke what happens to fighters that get older. It's important to keep yourself supported, keep yourself limber, because on the topics tonight, Anderson Silva,
Yeah.
Chuck versus Liddell is what I wrote down, which is not what I meant. I meant versus Tito Ortiz, but I wrote down what I wrote down.
I think you've ever fucking written.
Chuck versus Liddell was one of the most accidentally honest moments of my podcasting career. Lovato fight to win, I guess. That's hilarious to me. Didn't know that was happening. I should be paying attention. And Oscar De La Hoya fired back, and I guess there was something that happened in boxing. I just saw that meme you just said that was funny. Raph, how are you doing this evening?
I'm fine.
A lot of training. A lot of training for you the last few days.
I'm trying, dude, because I'm already fat going into the holiday, which is highly discouraging.
It's never great to start without momentum. I hear you. It's like going up a hill to go up a steeper hill. It's not great.
And there's too many people that I'm going out to grab lunches with. Maybe that's the problem. But there's a lot of people I'm getting food with who have been, especially at this all-you-can-eat sushi sort of deal that just goes,
yes.
Raph, can you finish it for us? And I go, why? Is it because I'm the fattest one here? Is that why you guys are bringing me? I thought you just enjoyed my company. I didn't know that you needed me to finish this. I'll eat it. It's fine. So that's what I got going on in my world. Kev, can I tell you my new idea?
Yes.
Okay. I understand a lot of you MMA fans. You're like us. You love this sport. You get excited about a number of events and fights. And then every once in a while you get one where you just say, that looks sad. Do we have to do that one? Now, we knew that Chuck versus Tito was going to be a shit show. And I know that a lot of you guys, and stay with me here, don't like government regulation. I hear it. I know it. Nobody likes oversight committees. Nobody likes having to put, I know, those weird things of democracy into place. However, they always feel that too much government will corrupt. Can I just point out one little oversight committee or vote that I think could be very beneficial to us here, Kev?
You're going to have to, because I'm not quite on board yet with congressional committees involved. I mean, I love a good committee, but...
Of course. Go with me here. I feel if a fighter is going to continue fighting after a certain age or a certain amount of knockouts, we should have a 2/3 vote that they need to clear. And it could be comprised of other fighters. It could be comprised of fans. So here's the reason why. Okay, so 2/3 votes is the way I see that this needs to go on because of the following, Kevin. If you have some sort of regulatory sort of body, I feel that fans, be it them or be it athletes themselves voting on if a fighter should be able to fight, or hell, even Dana White, who famously this week said, you know what, BJ Penn, why not come for another 4 fights? It's not like we have any reason to let you fight, but and this is after Dana White called Oscar De La Hoya a crackhead.
Coke.
And being
Cokehead.
Same thing. But he's basically saying to Chuck Liddell and saying you were mistreated by one Oscar De La Hoya because how dare he let you fight? And so he's saying, Oscar, on your watch, you let this fight happen. Oscar shot back and said, yeah, well, look at you, you asshole. And,
also accurate. By the way.
I mean, no one's wrong here. We had a lot of our fans saying they should just either make out or fight. And you know what? Given the both of them, it could be both.
I could see either. But I also, I just kind of love that it was like, whenever you have Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya disagreeing, it's like, I don't know which way's north. I'm in the vortex right now of who the fuck do I agree with?
Yes.
No
one knows.
The only way it's worse is if Manny Pacquiao shows up on third base is like, I'm here to also disagree. It's like, fuck. Oh.
It's a strange time to try and figure out who we're aligning with because, again, and I do understand if you leave it to the fans, you could get the case of one Gordon Ryan who this week said, hey, all of my underlings, why don't you give some shit to a steak restaurant that wouldn't let me come in just because I was wearing sweatpants? And guess what happened, Kevin?
Somebody explained to him that that's fucking stupid and put on
no.
jeans.
Instead, they said, no problem, King Ryan. We'll go after these people on Yelp and on their Facebook.
Oh, I hate that.
Yep. It is a little bit of an abuse of power, one might say. It's kind of the reason why owners of establishments hate Yelp and have some validity to their claims. But Kev, then you look at the
strict dress code. They don't like sweatpants and erections. They also said my tank top showed too much, and I quote, nipple. Not cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's also part of the issues that they're facing. But Kev, the interesting thing to me is this. We had a fight last week that just didn't need to happen. And maybe it's better that we didn't record a podcast immediately after the fight because I had feelings. I had some responses to it.
We were quite clear we weren't excited
No.
about. And I wrote down Chuck versus Liddell on the show write up, and he got knocked out fast.
No.
Damn it.
Oh, wait, hold on. Define fast.
What round?
Well, the first, but when you said fast, I just wanted to be very clear in saying neither of them were what one would ever refer to as fast.
I'm sorry. Within like the first minute or towards?
So there was a lot of tripping on themselves. There was a lot of stalking one another. Whenever they whiffed and they missed, they seemed to lose all of their balance. So
And there.
that happened for a little while, and it got a little awkward. However, Kev, what made things even more uniquely awkward for all of us involved was the fact that when the knockout did come, everyone but Chuck saw it happening. And it was cruel. It seemed unnecessary. And it was a confirmation of everything we thought it was going to be. And the word that we knew for sure from day one was terrible. And Kev, that's not even getting into the elements of production and design that went into it. I don't know if you've ever watched a show where the graphics look like they haven't fully rendered and they look like they said, just put it on air. It'll render as it goes live. It's fine. So it looked like the graphics were trying to be 3D and come at you, but instead it looked like it just stopped midway through and it ran out of memory on the computer and it goes, yeah, these are the two fighters. That's good enough.
Damn it. So we're talking like Mortal Kombat Episode 2.
Oh,
Sega.
Yes, 100%. And by the way, if you haven't read the oral history of Mortal Kombat, go do that right now, everybody, because the actors did not get paid who played the video game counterparts. And it's really sad. And I think Kano at one point said he was working like a menial job. And it's very sad, but it's also very informative, kids. Treat your actors right and pay them well. Anyway, Kev, this is where it gets really super weird to me because I'm just sitting there absorbing this fight. We're talking it's so weird that our friend Albert Morales, who was on the card, right?
He got engaged.
He loses a fight. And then he figures, well, he's got the crowd there. He might as well propose to this woman he's seeing, which amazing and fine. But guess what? We didn't see that because once they gave him the mic, they cut him off. Do you know what they cut him off to go do?
Play a Monster Energy drink commercial?
Worse, they went backstage to have, I believe it was Frank Mir, go back and talk with Chuck Liddell. Would you like to know what that interview sounded like?
I mean,
if you guys want to, it's going to be a good fight. Tito is somebody who I know, and I know my Mohawk's pretty good, and I can't wait for the beer afterwards. Thank you.
When they come back to the cage, the commentator, who I believe was Todd Phillips on this one, who just goes, well, in case you guys were unaware of what just happened, Albert Morales just got engaged. How about that? Moved right along. It was a clusterfuck in so many ways, and the payouts were just as bad, if not worse, than the UFC's. And you can give them some slack and say, maybe that's your first event. Maybe, you're going to get better from here. I'm not so sure. And with pay-per-views being that low, it is here's what was really sad, Kev, because I haven't even mentioned this part. So not only did Tito congratulate himself and then get really mad when nobody was giving him credit. He's like, why isn't anybody giving me credit for beating Chuck Liddell? And it's like, because it's 49-year-old Chuck Liddell who didn't move.
Everyone hates you, you piece of shit.
So they did yell that out at him.
Awesome.
And I understand that. But Kev, this was the moment that really broke my heart because I said, we saw what we saw. We knew what we were going to see. I wish it was less sad than that song, but it was not, Kevin. Because
love me again. Chuck's head hits the mat. He'll walk out the door.
I really hope that he does the background vocals for it as well, and they make it a duet. But Kev, here's where it got the saddest. At the end of the fight, Tito Ortiz had the gall to, while praising Chuck Liddell, and we thought, all right, we're done here. No animosity. Everybody's friends. Blah, blah, blah. He goes up to him and he says, hey, Chuck, man, I just want you to know I respect you so much. And you got to do me a favor. You got to keep fighting. Let's make this happen here.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Golden Boy MMA. Let's keep this going, man. When he was backstage, Tito Ortiz goes, yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to beat him. I mean, yeah. And they go, well, you said that you wanted to keep him fighting. He's like, yeah, but definitely not the main event. Wait, what do you mean you don't want him to fight in the main event? Are you saying like he's not a good enough fighter to fight in a main event despite you beating him and being proud of that? And now you're telling us not to be proud of that because, oh no, he's actually not supposed to be fighting anymore. To me, Kev, my head just exploded and said, I guess the worst moment of this whole thing is while Tito didn't fully 100% commit to saying he was done, it seemed to be the language he was saying was, yeah, I'm done. So not only was he saying, I'm going to remove myself from fighting, but you know what? Chuck, you stay here, buddy. You keep fighting.
Sadness.
And then guess what? The Athletic State Commission said, we suspend Chuck Liddell indefinitely.
Which only makes perfect sense after he already fought, that they would make that decision helpful. It's like, guys, I'm going to go ahead and tell you at the age of 85, smoking wasn't the best idea. Look, we have other topics to rapid fire here real quick. Anderson's the Spider Silva might be back. What is going on?
I mean, he's one shot away from getting a title shot. Yep. Isn't that weird? Kev, yes. Do you remember the last time he had a win?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Why? Why is that? You can't remember when Anderson Silva won.
7 years ago?
I mean, here's the thing, Kev. If you have to think like that, it's probably not the time you deserve a title shot, but he's right back in title contention if he wins this next fight, which is an uphill battle for him, my friend, because Dana White promised him something. The last time he won was back in October 13, 2012, where he beat Stephan Bonner. Now, hold on. Yes, okay. He did have a win against Derek Brunson. However, can you ever really be sure he's not on the it's normal?
I can't. I cannot. Anderson Silva, retire, please. We've hit a lot of our topics. Last night, I saw Junior Dos Santos defeat the guy that does the shoeys.
Somebody.
The guy that does the shoeys.
Yes.
I should know him as more than that. I'm trying to head to the UFC's events webpage. Tuivasa.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that fight, and I saw Mark Hunt fight, and I also saw Shogun Rua make a victory. Fun night of fights, weird night of fights. Because Junior Dos Santos was getting his ass kicked by Tuivasa, then just crunked him. And then Tuivasa seemed upset, even though he wasn't doing anything while he was mounted and getting punched in the face multiple times.
Well, he was doing something.
No, that doesn't count. Squealing
what are you talking about?
And moving your arms haphazardly. That wasn't Raf Guard. That's for fucking sure. That had no semblance in defense. He was kind of just bam-bamming his way out of nothing.
I'll beg to differ, Kev. He was definitely underneath in mount. And he was definitely trying to punch from underneath while mounted. And, you know, I thought about that and said, that's bold. And he connected a couple times, but I said, how long do you see this being a good defense, buddy? We should probably work the mount escape. No?
we definitely should.
Nope, we're gonna keep trying to punch here. Oh, you do you, buddy. But when that elbow, and these strikes. Oh God, Junior Dos Santos. And I mean, here's the interesting thing: both Dos Santos and Shogun were rocked. Their knees were buckled. It looked very bad for both of them, and yet both of them were able to use that veteran experience, come back, and put on amazing performances. Kev, I'm telling you this: when I saw Shogun Hua fighting, I said, I mean, bro, I get it. I know you're a fighter at heart. And I saw him win, and I said, you know what? You get to continue. In the 2/3 Congress of fighting, he would get an extra coin that says, I get to fight one more time. I think that's fair.
And speaking of sure things, the rest of our fight analysis and podcast brought to you by NorthSouthJujitsu.com.
Hey.
I would backslash it men underwear, but that's just if it's whatever your choice is. You'll see that gray and that navy. Free shipping on orders over $80 US and Canada. 30-day money-back guarantee, which is going to be not necessary. It's that good. Head on over to NorthSouthJujitsu.com. Visit our friends. They are the best in the business. They're not second best. They're the best.
They're the best.
They are amazing.
They are simply the best.
Better than all the rest.
Well, I like that you went grizzly old country vet and I went pop vocal, but
we were ready.
It's fine.
We arrived somewhere.
100%.
That's in now, thanks to Justin Timberlake and Chris Stapleton. Head on over to NorthSouthJujitsu.com. It's better than all the rest. And A Star is Born, Raph, Grizzly Country.
It is.
Anyway, well, this is a stretch topic. NorthSouthJujitsu.com. Last 2 fights, Mark Hunt loses.
That was rough to watch. However, I mean, I'm into that. I understand that it could be his last time fighting. But I have to say that Tuivasa and Mark Hunt got amazing entrances that I didn't know that they would allow their fighters to necessarily do. I was actually very surprised. They both got kind of like warrior send-offs, which I thought was pretty dope. So that was fun to see. Kev, we also want to give a shout out to our good friend Christos Yagos, who won his fight by decision, and man, was he tired. And I don't blame him. That was a tough fight for him to win, and he pulled deep. And he ended up getting it. So props to him. The day before, though, Kev, we can't overlook a series of fights that were the Ultimate Fighter finale, though.
Okay. Hit me with the highlights.
Let me hit you with the highlights on that one. Kamaru Usman beat Rafael Dos Anjos. And, Kev, it was rough to watch. Dos Anjos, he was in there for like a heartbeat. And then Usman was just wrestling him down. And here's where it gets a little nerve-wracking for that division. Would you like to know what happens?
Yes.
Dana White says, well, Tyrone Woodley, who do you think he's supposed to fight next, Kev?
Sage Northcutt. Wait, he signed with one. Who else?
With one. Well, he's supposed to go fight Colby Covington. Remember that whole interim title thing that they were doing?
Yes.
And then Colby was hurt when they were supposed to fight, and they said, let's scrap that. So now they're waiting because Woodley in his last fight got a little bit of an injury. So they're just waiting on that to happen. Well, it's supposed to be Colby and Tyrone. Except now Dana's kind of high on Usman and was saying, I mean, what do you guys think? Usman? Woodley? That's the fight I want to see. And they go, what about Colby? And he's like, who? I was never friends with Colby Covington. I don't know what you're talking about.
His name.
If I'm guessing, though, I think that Dana has seen the pay-per-view lackluster sales from one Colby Covington. And maybe, one of the few times he ever would, just considered what the fight would be like. So there's that. Kev, I did message you about this because I asked you what you're going to be attacking when you're coming back to the Jiu-Jittery, and you said a straight arm lock. Did you not?
Yes, straight armbar.
Well, a straight armbar happened from the essentially kind of crucifix mount position with 1-1 Francisco Diepa, who won the Ultimate Fighter with that very move.
I'm impressed.
It was very nice. Speaking of submissions, there was a crazy scramble that happened between Macy Chikasan and I want to call her Panini Kanizad. But essentially, Penny was really close to sinking in, I think, like an armbar, like a belly down armbar, loses it. Macy takes the back through an escape, ends up putting her away. Then in other news, you got Pedro Munoz, who put away Brian Caraway. Like it was like a liver kick, and it was rough to watch. And we're talking Pedro Munoz is one of those guys with an amazing guillotine, has put away tons of people with that. And that kick looked yikes. So there was that. Just kind of other stuff. Tim Means was back in the win column, so good to our good friend over there. Won it within the first round in a minute 18. There were some great submissions. I would highly recommend you go check out. There was, I believe, a kind of anaconda choke, Kev, where one of the guys ended up going out. I'll send you that clip a little bit later. And then Joseph Benavides back in the win column over Alex Perez. I actually kind of like this night of fights. I was pretty happy all the way around. So, but Kev, we go through all the UFCs. What's the one thing that we need to remind people about boxing, especially when they're bitching about boxing?
Don't do it. It's corrupt.
Why?
Referees, gambling, the mafia, the FBI, CIA, FIA.
If I'm being honest, I put up a joke, and I'm going to stand by this joke, but I wanted to say it on here so that it's in the Verbal Tap archives on the audio side. The greatest thing about not watching boxing is that you already know how it ended.
With pissed off boxing fans.
Everybody saying it was rigged and a draw. Oops, how'd we do it again? Because they want that inevitable rematch money. And here's the sad part. I saw some of the highlights today. Really good match, Kev. But here's the way I've kind of rationaled it. I said, I'm no longer going to get hyped up. If I have a bad feeling, and yesterday I had a bad feeling, I just step aside and I say, I'm going to watch it without the hype so that I don't get hyper disappointed and I can just really enjoy the technical or the amazing boxing prowess, or in yesterday's case, Kevin, with Fury, who got knocked out and came back to life deep in the 12th, like The Undertaker. And I kid you not, there's been a ton of memes, and they're all destructively funny. But that was some resolve. And I have a lot of respect for how he was able to kind of compose himself. Despite getting knocked down twice, though, Kev, a lot of people said that he won that fight because he won pretty much every other round. And yet, we still have a draw. You know why?
No.
Because boxing.
Boxing. All right.
So that's the recap for you guys, just in case you were wondering what the fuck happened, I guess, in the past week. We've had a fucking crazy week. Rafael Lovato Jr. ended up winning yesterday.
Decision over Hinger. I guess it's
Good on
worth
him.
mentioning-ish. No, I'm just...
It is, because think about it like this, Kev. Guess what? He was wearing North-South Jiu-Jitsu underwear. As were
of course.
few of the participants. I tried to shoehorn that one in when you were doing it, but you were just on a run, and then Simply the Best happened. So this is our reprise. Anyway, without going too far over, though, guys, it's been a weird week for us to kind of be away. Because when Kevin and I came back, we looked around and said, did everybody lose their mind? Is everything awry? No. Boxing was still crazy. Jiu-jitsu, still fun. The UFC's website got hacked, which was amazing because they changed it for the first time in a billion years. Sage Northcutt is fighting in one championship. Good on him. John Jones wants to make as much money as possible getting knocked out by one Deontay Wilder. Guys, MMA is exactly where we left it 1 week ago.
It's the dream.
Yep.
Stay tuned for some UFC 231 over-under with new best friend Gabe Calvento.
Ooh, you're the best.
Say the best.
There we go.
All right, so these UFC cards sneak up on us faster than we can really keep up with them, Kev. It's difficult because we're at UFC 231, and this is only the first of two pay-per-views this month.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, okay, this feels like that. I guess after looking at the card, yeah, I'd call this feels like a first one out of two.
Sure. But let's not overlook the fact that there's a major main event that I think a lot of people are excited for, that you would maybe be more excited if it was on a different card. I'm not going to get on that. I'm just going to let you know the pay-per-views might be low on this one, even though the fight for the main event could be good, or it could be a disaster because we don't know the health of one of the participants because Concussion City. We're going to come back to that at a later point in time. However, Kev, I dug deep for someone for you to take on this week's installment of Over Under Kevin.
I urge you not to do that. I always say stay shallow. Get someone beatable.
No, because here's the thing. You and Milton ran too close of a race. The fact that Milton was bragging so much made me think, he only narrowly walked away with the victory on the overall, but he screwed up the Daniel Cormier pick when he was on the last time. So, Kev, I decided to go one better on this one. I decided to get you one of Milton's coaches, a.k.a. the guy who heads up the Goons over at 10th Planet Van Nuys for their MMA team. They're Mr. Miyagi is what they sometimes call them when I think they're vaguely racist.
I don't like those 10th Planeters, ref.
But I'm not so sure if it's like a socially acceptable. Anyway, long story short, yesterday he just fought at his kickboxing pro debut, an amazing fight. Gross. And I'm very excited to bring him on. I guess, why don't we go ahead and bring on our good friend and 10th Planeteer as well, Gabe Calvento. Gabe, how are you doing, sir?
Good, Raph. How are you? Although I definitely did not fight professional kickboxing, I'd probably get kicked in the face if it was pro. But I did all right for an amateur.
That's fine. I mean, listen, dog. Here's what I'm saying.
You fought another human. It counts. We don't have that kind of sharp
there we go.
Ivy League standard of pro versus amateur. But whatever.
Clearly, Gabe is playing for real facts when we're telling the guy over in Minnesota who's like, I don't really care. I mean, he sounds cool. I just know he's like Mr. Miyagi, so whatever, dude. To you, our friend over at Missoula, I don't know who you are, but thank you very much. Gabe, here's my question. Why weren't you at wrestling today?
Honestly, I try to avoid Elliot as much as possible, so missing a wrestling class is just another way to do that.
And of course, you fought yesterday, no big deal. But then you also happen to schedule your own fight on the day of the Fury Wilder fight. And I think to myself,
I know.
Super rude.
Oh, terrible. It was so shitty. They try to put it up in the back and people try to have it on their iPads, but nobody's stream was working. It was trash.
Yeah. I did hear the guys were able to watch it from the seats. So I do like the fact that I run into Kevin the day before. So he's so on weight, he's underweight, which is amazing because if you're about to weigh in, it is
rare.
But it's nice to know that when you see Gabe, before he has to go do a weigh-in, and you go, where are you at? And he's like, 136. And I go, oh, okay. So he's got to drop a pound or something. And he's like, no, the fight's at 140. I go, oh. So you get to go eat while you're on the scale? Because that's what I'd be about.
Yeah, I had a coconut water on the way there.
If you had held up some fried chicken.
It ended up being all good.
It
ended up being all good.
This had Daniel Cormier and or Derek Lewis potential. If you had just brought whatever your favorite fast food item is, you might have had a sponsorship just for next time.
I know. I should have made a bigger deal about it.
It's okay, Kev. He's getting used to all of these things. However, Gabe, part of the reason why I wanted to bring you on is not just to avenge Milton, because there is a potential to not only beat Kevin here, but to also beat the benchmark of one Milton Aguayo. So that would be fun.
Yes, absolutely. But
I think it's always important we get to know a little bit about you. So tell us what the preparation was like going in to your fight yesterday, sir.
Well, definitely doing a Muay Thai fight was something completely different. Normally because I head up those Goons of Van Nuys, I do MMA and mainly just jiu-jitsu. So if we do stand-up, it's kind of just during the mixed martial arts, sparring or something like that, or doing a little pad work here and there. But about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I started doing some cross-training in a Muay Thai school. They mentioned a December 1 Muay Thai fight, and I thought that sounds like a hell of a challenge. So I got ready for that. The training was completely different. I haven't rolled in quite a while, so I'm excited to get back to jiu-jitsu now. But this was completely different. It was a lot more clinching, kneeing, kicks, learning how to do all that stuff the traditional Thai way. It was a lot of fun for the last 6 weeks or so.
I had to say though, Kev, one of my favorite things is about the Van Nuys guys, and you think it just has to pertain to gi, but all the guys who fight on the 10th planet side over, specifically at Van Nuys, get to a point where they go, fuck jiu-jitsu. And it comes in waves and circles, and I'm not always prepared for it, but I'm like, that's the one that I do. I don't care about the other ones. I can't do the other ones. So I'm always kind of intrigued when I go, they'll be back. It's just a matter of
every
when.
time.
So
yeah, every time.
And what's your jiu-jitsu acumen? It looks like if I'm at 10thplanetvaneyes.com /instructors,
yep.
I can see your smiling face and what appears to be a jiu-jitsu history tracing back to 2010-ish.
Yes.
That's why 10th Planet, why jiu-jitsu then? Because it's a little bit before the boom.
Yeah, I was boxing at the time. I started boxing as a kid, and then I would kind of off and on train pretty much throughout all my teenage years. And then I had a friend who wrestled for my high school when we were 18 or 19 tell me he was going to do an MMA smoker fight, in one of those underground ones back when they used to have those at gyms after hours and all that stuff.
Back when men were men, Gabe. Back at a little thing when we had civility in this country. It was a better time. Man wasn't afraid to fight another man in a backstreet brawl. No, go ahead. Sorry.
That was pretty much it. And he asked me to help him get ready. And I went to go spar with this kid, and he double-legged me instantly and dumped me on my head when I had only boxed and punched me in my face for a couple minutes. And I could not take that I did not know how to fight back. I thought, oh, my God, I boxed for this long, and I couldn't do a damn thing to this freaking high school wrestling kid. So I started looking around for some jiu-jitsu, and I just got lucky in that the first person I called was Alder. And as I called him, I remember it was a weekday, and I said, should I come down there today and take the class? And he said, I'm actually not going to be teaching today because I just quit. And he said, I am starting my own school probably on Monday. Do you want to meet up with me Sunday morning and I'll teach you some stuff? And it literally went like that.
Jeez.
I went down and he taught me some basics. That Monday I met Lobes, and I never left.
Lobes also, Kev, you may be familiar as Frosto on the show. You may hear me talk about him occasionally. It's mostly confusing because the first time I met him, really, really met him, they're like, that's Mike. And I go, okay, his name's Mike. And they go, no, his name's Lobes. I go, who's Lobes? I just met Mike. Lobes is Mike. Okay, well, great. And they're like, yeah, he's Frosto too. And I go, those are all very different names. Why can we pick one? Because I don't know how or why we're doing all three of them. And they're like, all three work. So on a given occasion,
I usually go with Lobes.
Yeah, you guys go with Lobes because you're into really crazy nicknames. I still usually call him Frosto. It's very rare that I call him Lobes, and if I do, it's because I'm around too many of you that I'll be overwhelmed. So I try to spice that up. But Kev, here's an important thing. Gabe's always the one holding the pads. He's the one that's usually organizing them, which is no tough task because I try organizing on a very small scale and being like, let's get together to train. They're like, it's hard. I don't know. But Gabe's the one that usually gets them together. Even when we do wrestling, he'll be the guy who has hours or rounds with pads with them after that. So when I'm all said and done, they keep going. So Gabe's usually the guy who puts that together on both, for the team and for their individual needs. However, this is of interest to you, though, Kev. He recently started a podcast.
Why?
That's what I'm saying.
That's not what I meant to do. Raph, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me try that again.
Go ahead.
Awesome. That's good. So did Conan. This is great news. What's yours about?
Well, aside from organizing the guys at Van Nuys, my day job is that I'm a personal trainer. So I have my own personal training business. And for a little bit of fun stuff to do on the side, I run a podcast where it's called the 5 Minutes to Fit. And I try to give really easy health and fitness tips that take only a couple minutes to listen to. And that's pretty much the podcast.
I'm sorry, I tuned out. It was something about. I've already drifted into mean gear, Raph. I'm supposed to be nicer until we start the over/under. This is your fault for stoking the fire. No, that sounds actually pretty fun. What's it called?
5 Minutes to Fit, GCal Fitness.
Actually, my fat ass could listen to that a little bit, Raph, especially through the holidays. There's this one part that's like maybe I should have let him pitch it before I shit on it wholesale, because that sounds helpful this holiday season.
Special editions just for Kevin are like 25 minutes to fit, but that's, I don't want to say either here or there. Why I just want you to understand, Kevin, that I'm bringing on one of our peers, somebody who's in the podcasting business, similar to you and I. He's almost recorded as many episodes as we have. Gabe, how many are you up to?
I don't know, but I'm going to trust you that it's close to yours. I'm actually not sure at all.
Nope, it's on the opposite side, which is less than 321, because that's essentially where we're at. In fact, if you multiply the entire podcast that you've been doing so far by like 6, we still come ahead quite significantly.
Yeah, you guys definitely are a little bit better about this.
But he's a peer, Kevin. So you can use all the podcast jargon you want with him and do all that sort of stuff. I guess the question is this. So, Gabe, what is it that you get out of helping people get fit? Because Kevin and I just stopped short of, well, we went to go train. Now we're going to eat what we want.
Tacos.
So, and if you saw what we ate
live
after like wrestling today, I'm pretty sure that I'm a net negative on the amount of weight loss that I was supposed to have gotten from the hard rounds of wrestling. So where did that?
You need those days too.
Nope, that's kind of Monday through Friday for me, my friend. It's a full-time job being fat for this guy. But where did that start for you? Because obviously your jiu-jitsu journey's its own sort of a thing. But where did you kind of decide that personal training and helping people achieve their fitness goals was where you wanted to go?
Well, I started training people maybe a year or 2 into jiu-jitsu. It was just something I kind of naturally gravitated towards and something I enjoyed doing. And when I started my own business about like 2 years ago and opened up shop and everything like that, I realized that as far as time in the day, I can't really take on any more people. So the only way that I could kind of help some people out would be to kind of put some information out there, whether it be like on social media or whatever it is. And then somebody mentioned doing a podcast. I looked at the landscape for fitness podcasts, I guess, and a lot of them are very like, I don't know how to word this properly. I guess it's like very specific to like a certain kind of diet or a certain kind of training or something like that. And I've never been one of those kind of fitness people. I live a lot of life in moderation, I believe. And I do think, like what you said, eating a good amount after earning it at some wrestling rounds, I think that is good for you every now and again. But in general, I just wanted to find a way to help some people out. And so I made a podcast that would be short in time. It takes 5 minutes to listen to. I don't use any complicated fitness jargon or any of that nonsense. Instead, I try to talk to people like normal people and just try to give some helpful stuff that they can use.
All right. And if I'm correct, 5 Minutes to Fit by GCal Fitness. Am I
Yes,
getting that
sir.
right? All right. Well, 49 episodes of this business.
49? Oh, my God, Kev. He's almost at 50. Holy shit.
Some good customer reviews.
I will get back on my game, Raph. I will start cranking them out, and I will be at 300 soon.
No, that's not true. But I do feel that if you really put your heart into it, you might get to 100. And I am very positive you're going to get to 50. So I think even money says you get to 50. So
Yeah.
this makes me happy, though, Gabe, because when I see people who start off new podcasts, I instantly ask, why are you doing this to yourself? And then after doing that, I like bringing them in the fold. I like for you to see what it really feels like to host a podcast. And here we don't just host a podcast. This is a show within a show, because we're about to transition now to a segment where we do pay-per-view guessing. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Kev, you know how I told you the backstory about how Milton was always so good about picking? He says he is so brilliant at picking fights. Now, while Gabe isn't the person who brags about how good his picks are, this is all I hear when I'm going to train. These guys are always talking fights. They're always excited about fights. And without saying he knows how to pick them, I'm just saying, Gabe has a very quietness about him in terms of, yeah, I'm pretty good at picking these things. I mean, I'm just some sort of, boxing and striking whisperer, no big deal. I just help these guys achieve their dreams and, do the thing here. But what do I know? So I just thought it was important, Kev, that I give you the opportunity to take out the whole Van Nuys team.
First of all, I appreciate it. I collect them like a Midwesterner collects deer heads on the wall. It's more than you think it needs to be, but it does make a statement, and that's the statement I'll be making with the Van Nuys. And I have also decided on what 5 men to fit I will start with. Episode 14 entitled Sauces and Oils. So that's where I'll be.
Because
good stuff.
Here's the best part now, Kev. So now that you know all that background about Gabe, it's important for me to tell you that when we transition into this next segment, you are welcome to mock Kevin all you want. So we usually allow for a little bit of cross-examination because it's hard to make fun of somebody that you may not be familiar with. So are there any questions you'd like to know about Kevin right now that may become important when you need to insult him as you're making your picks?
Before we make these picks, curious as to, I know that you probably do jiu-jitsu. How long have you been training? Anything like that? Any training history?
None that comes to mind. I know I used to. I know there was a time. I trained for about 8 years in total. I'm a purple belt, but I have been off for injury for a while, and then on and then off again for injury for a while, and now I'm nearly back after climbing the K2 of early 30s injuries. And otherwise, pretty exploitable game. Get tired pretty quick. So if you can last a minute 4, look out.
All right, cool. Fair enough.
Raph, does that about cover it?
I think that covers a starting point. Gabe, do you have any other questions you'd like to ask him? Maybe not super emotional ones when Kevin Say is about to train Say for the first time, Say,
I guess
in the next couple days.
About my jiu-jitsu game, I call it fragile. Gabe, why did you ask? Did you notice something? Did you hear something in my voice?
I was going to say he quivered a little bit when I asked about it. I said, training history as well.
Susceptible to a barrage of attacks, I would imagine.
I mean, Gabe, it's kind of funny when we give you free reign to talk about it. And I was like, there's no problem with asking training. It seems fairly logical for people who are hosting a show to have, maybe a little background in it. But that one hit. That was like a sync battleship question. And so
if you started punching at me, I would employ the duck and tuck strategy. I don't know if people are familiar with this. It's opposite to the double leg takedown in every way. Duck and tuck. Get out of there.
So, Gabe, I'm going to allow you to reframe your question in a way that doesn't make Kevin emotionally cry. Go on.
Purple belt in jiu-jitsu. No striking experience?
Just a little bit of Muay Thai through Capital MMA and Fitness. Nice shout out to them. Still out there across the Northern Virginia area, meeting your jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and kickboxing needs.
CrossFit
too.
I don't know, Raph. Is there anything else I need to know?
I mean, ask him what movie makes him cry, because I feel like you're very low on ammunition that won't emotionally like stilt him. I'd rather keep it where, maybe he cried at The Lion King and we can make fun of that, rather than some
Okay.
psychological sports fitness injuries that we need to get over.
I was gonna say attacking that might be a little bit more intense. Sure, I'll go with Ralph's recommendation. Movies, anything that would make you emotional that I can use. Give me ammo here.
Sure. I was obsessed with the movie It's Complicated when it was out on HBO. It stars Meryl Streep and her ex-husband Alec Baldwin, like trying to come together, and Steve Martin, who's her architect. Look, the film has John Krasinski, who was in The Office. There's some really good comedy. And a large group of my friends started to make fun of me behind my back, and I didn't know it, about how frequently I would be watching parts of this movie. So, does that count?
All right, cool.
It even
I
feels a
feel
little
that's enough,
holiday-esque.
because I'll tell you this much right now. I sure as shit didn't know that fact. So I just learned something about my friend as well.
There you go.
I guess that would explain why we're the only MMA and jiu-jitsu podcast to ever reference It's Complicated, the movie, more than 4 times on the show. But yeah, no, that explains a lot. I'm going back in my brain and going to the references. Kevin, I think it's time we transition.
I don't see a corollary there at all.
I think it's time we transition to the game of Over Under, Kevin.
I'm getting it. I'm ready.
Thrilling installment of Over Under. Kevin.
Did you need more time to go get the cue ready?
Whoever is in verbal temp sound is fired. That's it.
That's you.
That's
Jesus
the last
Christ, there's 2
sound
of us
cue
here.
you'll
It's you.
miss.
I have one major
That
cue.
was dope. I like that.
Thank you. I made it. I should have been able to just play it myself, because it seems I'm the only one steering this fucking ship.
I had to fucking find it on iTunes. I think my computer lost power while we were gone. I don't have time to get into all the details because it's complicated, Raph.
Well, you know what? Why don't you go ask your friend Meryl Streep what her thoughts are about MMA, and then come back and give me a prompt report on that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a segment of the show we like to call Over Under Kevin. My name's Rafa Esparza. I host this segment. It's very simple. The rules, as you see, the way it works. Each participant is given 15 seconds to say who they think is going to win. We go through the entire card randomized, so we pick out of order. And although we do award the win to whoever gets the most picks right, what really matters in our hearts and yours is who talks the best amount of trash during the game. Each individual gets 15 seconds of rebuttal time, should I deem it. Gentlemen, do you both understand the rules? Kevin?
As long as he's not allowed to use any 10th planet lingo, I acquiesce to the rules.
Cannot promise you that. Gabe, do you understand and agree to the rules?
Yes, I do.
Will you be using 10th planet jargon? Because I didn't quite put that in the writer to book you on the show.
I'm probably not, considering I don't know any.
That's fair. That is true. Yeah.
Dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Kev, you also see why I get along with the 10 Eyes Van Eyes crew.
I do. It
fair.
makes more and more sense each time. I'm going to shift back into hating him, but for now, it's a match made in heaven. Raph, before we jump into this, can we just say that whenever you're approaching a bet, a UFC pick, just like you're approaching your nutrition, you need something proven. We're going to use my track record because it's great. And for your nutritional needs, you need to go to provennutrition.com. Enter Kevin 10 in. Enter Raph 10 in. Their core drink is the SmackDown best in the business. If they sold it at 7-Eleven, they wouldn't sell anything else. I stand by that. Provennutrition.com. Raph, just wanted to ping pong that back to you while this.
Just also endorsed by G-Cal Fitness unofficially. So he says it's good. Yeah, he says it's good and that it's super healthy for you. So that's like a doctor, right? Anyway, guys.
It seems fine.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the women's flyweight division. And this is a fight. Kevin, you're going to lead off between Caitlin Chook again and Jessica. Kev,
Yeah.
who is going to win this fight? 15 seconds left.
The blonde fighter versus evil. And I, as you know, do not subscribe to the lighter arts. I stick with what's proven, what's known, and in this case, it's evil. Something my opponent knows nothing about. Jessica
okay.
Evil Eye.
Okay, I see where you're at. Okay, Gabe, I've got 15 seconds on the clock for you. Do you agree with Kevin's pick, or are you going off on your own? Go.
I definitely agree. I think Jessica has got this one.
Okay.
I don't even have anything to clown on him for or anything like that. I agreed with everything he said.
Well, then allow me, Raph. I wrote in the
Kev.
title, as I'm keeping track of who has what, Jean-Claude Van Suckass as my opponent's name.
Oh.
So he could chew on that as he agrees with me. He is Jean-Claude Van Suckass.
Yeah.
Hello. Ring the bell. I don't
There
know.
you go.
I mean, there's
We
the
have a
bell. on that one.
Hey.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
shit, we
it's
have
the
a bell?
timer bell. Yeah, it's a timer bell.
Okay.
You-
I don't
you guys
have any good
legit-
disses, so just ring the bell for me.
It's a Christmas miracle, Gabe.
Jesus.
We have a bell.
That works.
Gabe, I just want you to know this is what happens when you come on a professional show. We have sound effects and cues when they're used properly. Kevin.
Shut up.
Yeah,
I
my
don't
bum-ass
need
show
you.
doesn't have any sound effects.
Okay, I'm sure if you did, you'd have a co-host that could play it at the right time. Not the point. We're going next to a welterweight.
Maybe if
fight
it was
between-
7.5 minutes to fit, he could slide it in, but he's got a tight 5, Raph.
What the fuck does that mean?
I have no idea. I was just trying to plug his podcast.
I think you
again.
literally
I was
just tried to
like,
make a stand-up joke and be like, yeah, me and my tight 5. You just tried to fucking shoehorn that into this conversation, and it did not work.
I'm giving you the light.
Type
Just
5.
shoehorn that in.
You don't give me the light. I'm the one that knocks, you motherfucker. Anyway, Gabe, you go next on this one. It's a welterweight bout between Chad Laprezi and Daigo Lima. Who do you got?
I am going to go with Daigo Lima because he is... I'm reading about him right now, to be honest. I didn't have any reason for picking him at all.
You don't know
Oh, yeah.
the Lima
Hell yeah,
brothers?
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, damn, I totally
Uh-oh.
blanked out. No, definitely got him.
Diego.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I got Lima on that.
Okay, you got Lima on that. He's going with the family legacy, also the Ultimate Fighter alum. Kev, where are you going on this?
This hurts because I'm a big Diego Lima fan. I
What?
would buy stock in his island if it existed, called Diego Lima Island. But
You can buy stock in islands?
I'm making a point. I'm going to go with the disciple, Chad Labrie, because 'tis the season. You know what I mean? Jesus-wise.
Not okay. I'm not sure. Chad. I'm trying to follow that one,
Tis
Kev.
the season.
His name is Chad the disciple Labrie. I'm going off nicknames.
Gotcha. Oh, 'tis the season because of
Did
that.
everyone
Gotcha.
just say focus?
Get your
there you go.
I don't want to be the
Judeo-Christian
only one
values.
doing my homework over here on what their nickname is or isn't. I
Kev.
could use a little help.
I'm going to report you to the Atheist Society of America and let them know that you're trying to push some Christianity on this show.
This is
which I
the
don't
3
appreciate.
weeks a year I can believe in Jesus because it makes sense with the Christmas carols. All the rest of the time, complete bullshit. This time,
You know, Kev,
legit, because I love
You
that
seem to
away in a
believe in
manger
Jesus
song.
when it's convenient to presents. I just want to go ahead and say that, okay? Let me see an atheist who will disprove presents and how great they are. Also, Gabe, I'm going to address you right now because I want to give you some inside intel because Kev was a little slow on that miscue. I'm going to tell you this right now. Do you know that Kevin is actually going against a former guest of the show, Diego Lima, who has come on our show? Do you find that as an ultimate betrayal, or do you find that Kevin had harbored bad feelings for him all those years ago? I put 15 on the clock for you to respond.
No, that is definitely a betrayal. It seems like a Kevin move. I have 15 seconds for this?
Yeah, you
Why
had
are you giving me this nonsense?
Well, listen, I gave you 15 seconds because I thought you could use the time.
I got it, ref. I got it. Saved by the bell.
Oh, God damn it, Kevin.
No, I was hoping you
Was
would
I
ring the
supposed
bell
to drop
for me,
it
and that would
in?
be the end of that would be the end of it.
Well, no, I can't do that. It's programmed to give you 15 seconds no matter what.
Oh,
It's not like
geez.
I don't have I don't have a soundboard that I can just miss cues on like somebody here. Kevin, did you have a response to that? 15 seconds for you.
I think I'll let the silence speak for itself. I believe that's what they do in the film industry. While I take the high road about the three kings traveling to visit a small infant that had been
Jesus,
rejected when he tried to visit
No,
multiple
out of time.
hotels.
Moving to the next fight. It's a featherweight fight between Hakeem Daду and Kyle Bochanek. Go, Kevin.
Oh, anytime I get the chance to take Kyle Bochniak in a fight, I take it. Now I get nervous about Hakeem the Dream and his reach and his 8-0 business. Kyle Bochniak for the bocce ball victory. I'm taking Crash, baby.
I almost want to go back in time and say it like that instead. Gabe, what do you got for us? 15 seconds, go.
Well, I would have gone with Bochniak as well, but I will go with Hakeem Dawodu. He really did impress with the last fight, and I really think that he'll be able to pull this out. The Bochniak fight was really good. The one was a beat, though.
Okay. Kev, you starting to bring that real analysis in here.
He took a Canadian. He can analyze all the fuck he wants. They only know two things, poutine and losing. Don't pick a Canadian.
Oh, wow. Wow. Gabe, I didn't know that you were so anti-America, but would you like to take 15 seconds to espouse some of your anti-America beliefs?
I don't have enough anti-America beliefs to fill out your 15 seconds, but if you want, I can just keep going until that bell hits so that I can have the sound effect.
Not with that attitude.
If you want, like,
Keep going.
Because I don't know how long to count. There you go.
Like, I've never had a guest just fill on by making their own noises. I brought my own soundboard.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. On this one, I'm going to get you guys to give us your opinion. Gabe, you lead this one off. It is Devin Clark versus Alexander Rakes with that C. Like, it's got an I and a C with a weird accent. Like, I'm not sure. Rikik? Yeah. Okay, I could go with that. Devin Clark and Alexander Rikik. Go, Gabe.
I am actually not familiar with Alexander. I'm trying to think if I remember any fights of his. No, but I do know Devin Clark, solid 205er. Looking up his record, 9-2. I'll go with Devin Clark. Sure, why not?
That's a very astounding support right there. Kev, what do you have?
Easiest money I ever made. I haven't seen Creed 2, but I assume Drago wins. And so does Alexander Rakik with his 6'4" reach. Guy's practically a point guard for the Jazz. Going with the Rakik.
Okay. Is that something to be proud of right now, Kevin?
They're not great. That's kind of the big point. Like a 6'4" point guard. I don't know that he's good. He's got abs, but if his jump shot's like Rubio's,
Oh, just to let you know,
like Rubio.
we really haven't gotten to the point where Kevin's picked a fighter based entirely on abs yet. Though
we got close a few times. I'll tell you that with some of these high def photos.
All right, we go to the next fight. Kevin, you lead us off. It's Claudia Galadina versus Nina Ansaroff. Go.
Yeah. And Claudia Galdeja's nickname, Claudina. So that's underwhelming. I'm going to stay inside the Brazilian circle of trust and go with this 16-3 feistiness of Claudia Galdeja.
Okay, where are you going on this one?
I'm going to go Claudia as well. I would have liked to have picked opposite just so I could kind of be opposite Kevin here, but I think I have her as well.
Any particular reason you're going for her?
The haircut. You can say the haircut.
Yeah, definitely going to go with the haircut. No, she just has a lot more experience and she has a much better record and she's fought really good competition between Carolina, and she's been there, Joanna and Carla Esparza and all these people. So she has experience. I'm gonna go with her.
Good call. Do you often tell your fighters when they don't have enough experience, hey, get out of here?
Yeah, so tell them all to go home, get experience, and then come back.
That's my favorite answer so far. Gabe, you lead this one off. It's a light heavyweight fight between Jimmy Manuwa and Thiago Santos. Go.
Ooh, I'm definitely going with Manoa, and the only reason why is because he looks like a legit superhero. So I'm going with Manoa.
Oh, okay. Kevin?
Yeah. This is how do you mean? Because Santos has the Thor hammer on his chest. This is an easy
that's cool.
decision of 19-6. I'm sticking with Brazil tonight. That's my team. Thiago Santos.
Okay. This is good. Gentlemen, I'm excited for this next fight. So I'm actually putting 30 seconds on the clock because it is our co-main event, and I feel it's important to give you guys time to espouse a few beliefs on it. Kev, it is a women's flyweight match between Valentina Shevchenko and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Go, Kevin.
Flyweight indeed. And I love both of these fighters. A lot of attitude, a lot of anger. But you know one thing I am also pro-Raf, and that is gun reform. I can't endorse a fighter who's just blatantly waving a gun toy, like gun tattoo, like it is something we should all just. I have to go with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She looks pissed off more than ever. There's no way she's not on that non-Poland good juice. Okay. I'm going with the 5'6" feisty hurricane, Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
So you're going for Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
And a little thing called gun control. That's what I'm going for.
I want to make sure, because it's very confusing. I want to make sure that people hear it right. Gabe, where are you going on this one?
I have Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko because I really do think that it's her time. I think Joanna's kind of fallen off, and I think that Valentina's got this one.
When you say fallen off, what do you mean?
Not that she's performing badly, like in the last fight. I didn't think that it was terrible, but I think after the Rose one, she seems a little shook up. She seemed like she was really attached to that champ life, and I really don't think she'll be able to kind of come back. Like the Tisha Torres decision, okay, but I don't think she'll be able to take out someone like Shevchenko. Shevchenko's too experienced for that.
Okay. Kev, are you washed up because you've been doing this for so long? And you don't tend to have a very good winning record.
Yeah.
And maybe you were a little shooken up when Milton beat you, so it's kind of difficult to understand how that works. I'm going to put 30 on the clock for you.
Well, I saw a sports psychologist, and that sports psychologist said, get the fuck out of here, you're not an athlete. So I saw a normal psychologist, and the normal psychologist and I have really started to forge a bond. And I haven't even thought about Milton's name in 6 to 7 hours. So I think I'm totally over that defeat, and I have moved on to greener pastures, and those greener pastures are a little thing called being able to sleep at night while someone named the Bullet doesn't get to wave her propaganda at us anymore.
Hello, Kevin.
For fuck's sake. From Canada's own Georges St. Pierre. Yes, sir.
Hello, Kevin. This is George St. Pierre. It's very good to be here. I very much enjoy you all. I know you have Mr. Miyagi on. I wear the Karate Kid headband on my forehead. So, hello, Mr. Miyagi. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, what an honor to meet GSP.
Oh, no, I know. That much is very true. I say that very, very often.
He's here all the time.
Kevin, so I heard you said you went to go see sports psychologist. Yes, no?
Yeah, it went really well. Felt good.
Do you recall what I did with Massara?
No, I don't. Something I recall you losing and then beating him. Does that count?
Yes. GSP had to go to sports psychologist. And this is a true story. GSP got so angry at Matsura, so then he gave me a brick and he said, "This brick represents Matsura." And I said, "How you beat me, brick? That's a terrible thing." And then I threw the brick in the river.
Awesome. Okay.
You can look that story up. It is true.
Will do.
Wow.
So anyway, Kev, do you have any questions about, I don't know,
You gonna
Anderson Silva for me real quick before I'm here and I have to go?
you gonna fight Anderson Silva? You gonna beat him up on your?
No, because I am GSPA. I run away. Oh, good one, Anderson Silva. I hear you. But you know what? I'm so sorry I don't have these dick pills to go there and spread out all that time.
Oh, sick burn.
Oh, GSP burn.
GSP burn.
GSP burn.
That's right. It hurts twice as hard. Ask any of my former girlfriend. Yes, no?
Yes,
GSP
no.
with the shot. Okay, bye, everybody. GSP, come in for a quick cameo. Okay,
Verbal
bye.
Tap fans, GSP on whether or not he will be fighting. We're no closer. So always great when he comes by and reveals nothing. I'm going to turn the reins back over to the over-under to Raph because I feel like I'm kicking Gabe's ass, and I'd like that to continue.
Well, listen, I don't want to say that
No
you are.
way.
Gabe. Whoa. Sorry, I didn't know we had
Whoa.
Michelle Tanner on the phone. No way, Jose. Why is he?
No way.
Why is he not beating you then, Gabe?
Because he picking all these nonsense fights. There's no way Joanna takes this one. That's the only one that I actually feel strongly about. I really think Shevchenko is going to put her away.
Okay. Well, I mean, you had the chance to say
Vegas
that Kevin had a
agrees
shitty
with you,
pick, but instead you spent most of your time talking about how she's a has-been. So, I mean, direct your thoughts on Joanna to Kevin and project those thoughts upon him. That's the whole point of the game, is that when these fighters hear you say this and they say, "Hey, we've heard you're a great coach. I would like to get your consulting. However, I heard you once on Verbal Tap, and I didn't like what you were saying about me. So I'm just saying, we're looking out for you, son. So keep that in mind." All right, we go to our lightweight bout between Carlos Diego Ferreira and Jesse Ronson. Gabe, you start us off on this. You have 15 seconds on the clock. Go.
I am gonna go with. I'll go with Carlos Diego, only because Kevin has been picking Brazilian people the whole time, and now I'm taking his Brazilian person.
Oh, shit. All right. Kevin, how do you feel? He's taking your mechanism of choosing. 15 for you.
First of all, it fucking hurts. Second, if anyone knows me, I love true crime. Well, Jesse's nickname, the Body Snatcher. I've got to go with my horror instincts for Jesse, the Body Snatcher.
I'm really sad that nobody went the Uncle Jesse route when I said in a perfectly good Michelle Tanner joke, but whatever, guys. You don't like Full House. I get it. You're not cultured. But good to know. Kev, I'm glad that you went that way because we have a middleweight bout. And this one's where I think it gets a little interesting because I would love to hear where you guys differ or agree on this one. But we have a lightweight bout between Eric Anders and Elias. Look at that hair. Theodoro. Kev, you start it.
Yeah, the Spartan. I got so distracted by his eyes, chest, and abs when you started that I was able to forget he's from Canada. I'm choosing the good-looking one because we all have an agreement, and I can't break the bond. Elias, Thea, what was it? I didn't hear.
Kev, I just want to make sure that you.
What's his number?
Were you trying to put yourself in the same category as an Elias Theodoro?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a Kansas version.
Oh, okay. Ooh, yikes. All right, Gabe, what do you have on this one? Do you have Eric Anders or do you have Elias Theodoro?
I have Eric Anders. I wish I had some kind of clever, funny thing to say as to why I'm picking him, but his nickname's your boy, so I'm just going with Eric Anders.
Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, that's great. I love when my MMA coach has no real analysis on fighters. It's fine.
Yeah, why not?
Can I point this out, Kev? I had Brandon McCatherine on Grappling Hour.
Never heard of him.
Shut up. Hey, you know what? I got you out of major trouble with him.
Oh, I still owe
Do you know
him a
why?
song. I owe him a song.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's Kev, we're approaching like 3-4 years on this one. And do you know what I told him to like fend him off for just a little bit?
What?
He's like, now Kevin, he owes me a song. And I was like, do you remember that Guns N' Roses were supposed to come out with Chinese Democracy? And he goes, yeah. And I go, and how long did that take? He goes, a long time, but it wasn't good. And I go, you think Kevin's song's going to be good? Jesus Christ, you expect too much from him. He didn't write Welcome to the Jungle. His name is Kevin Phillips. He's from Kansas. And he goes, all right, I'll leave him alone.
I gotta write a song, though. I just got to get it out. I'll internalize it.
I told him I got you some clemency for a change. But here's the reason why I brought it up. Just in case you don't know, Gabe, do you know Brandon McCatherine?
I have, I think, met him once.
Sure. 10th Planet Black Belt, bald head, very southern, very charming, very solid jiu-jitsu. Now, the reason why I bring up the bald head is when I realized that his homeboy, who he's been training, who's Eric Anders, is fighting Elias Theodoro, I got really concerned. And I said, wait, did you put on a wig and stare incessantly into his eyes? Because that's the only way you as a coach can truly prepare Eric Anders for the inevitability of Elias Theodoro making him fall in love with him. And Brandon McCatherine said,
that is good.
He just goes, no, I just had him stare deeply into my eyes. And I was like, that's great, y'all, but where's your wig? Because that hair is an entirely different beast into itself. So, Kev, that's the insight I have for you. I'm very concerned about Eric Anders not having the proper coach in Brandon McCatherine.
Me too. No. Glad I went with the vision.
Me too.
Fabio Jr.
Ditto is where Kevin left on that one.
With a living Prince. The cartoon come to life.
Well, let's do this.
Oh, I've been staring at Elias's photo too long. I think I might be pregnant. Everybody look out. Jesus, this guy with his piercing look.
All right, let's continue the fun here. Gabe, you go to the next one, and it is Alex Oliveira versus Gunnar Nelson. Go.
Definitely going with Gunnar Nelson on this. I don't think you should bet against those Icelandic people, and I really do believe that his grappling will be the difference.
Okay. Kev?
I believe I mentioned that I'm in Denver, and I'm from a little place called Kansas.
Yeah.
We are through and through cowboys in this country.
Wow.
And I will go with the cowboy, Alex Oliveira. He's going to wrap around him like a Midwestern snake, baby. Look out.
Are those things?
I don't know. Like maybe
I have no idea if that's a thing.
I feel like they don't have the climate to really. I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
We've got
Are
rattlers.
there cowboys in Brazil? This has been my whole beef with him this whole time. Like, are there cowboys? Like, can he do that?
I mean, cowboy? Tell you what, you put a cowboy hat on, you're essentially a cowboy.
Yeah,
That's
94% there.
Yeah.
You find some boots, 92%. 92%.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it's a little heady.
You find the ability to stamp ass, 100%, and he's got it.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody remember the time when it was cowboy versus cowboy and all of us go, is that how they're booking this one? It's we can't think of other nicknames, so good enough.
We're not going to have it in L.A. and call it the Wild Wild West or anything. No need for that.
So Gabe, just to kind of fill you
cheesy.
in, we've got a couple fights left on here, but this is the part of the show where I like to remind people that there is usually a wager attached. Now, since we all participate in the jiu-jitsu, we don't have money. So we make it a non-financial bet. Kev, can you give some examples of bets that you have won in the past?
Keith Krikorian owes me a public endorsement of candy corn, and he knows it. That's number one.
He did ask me about that, if I'm being honest.
He owes me a full retraction of his bullshit statement that candy corn sucks. And
candy corn does suck, but I want to make sure that for the betting purposes, I will not have any interference. But on this show, I want the rest of you people who have messaged me and said, what the fuck's wrong with Kevin with candy corn? I hear you. And I have forwarded your messages to him, and it still doesn't work.
And you're wrong. It's tough to hear live and in person like this. But pull the car over, take a deep breath, process it. You are wrong. And I sent a T-shirt to our friends over at the Grappling Central.
That's me.
I almost said the Grappling Hour. I was like, no, that's not it. That's Raf's show. I did know. I did just stop. And thank you for tearing me back there, Raf. Anything social media based, some pictures, some endorsements, that type of thing.
Shoot, I have no idea what I could gamble with you now. Can I just send you candy corn too?
Accepted.
So just to kind of fill you in here, though, Gabe, the way that this works is I don't need you to say what it is right this second because we've got 3 fights left. However, we usually defer to the guest to come up with their own version of something creative. Now, mind you, it could be fitness related, which is your branding. It could be you sending Kevin candy because you just feel like you're already going to lose, which is a bad tell if we're being honest right now.
And you have a podcast.
No.
We could go on-air commercial for on-air commercial.
Ooh.
Don't make me get feisty here.
Ooh, that gets really feisty. I don't know about
that might be a good one.
Now, hold on. I don't know about the exchange value here. I think he getting
there's
one.
definitely a bad exchange rate.
He definitely gets like one advertisement for like 100 on his. So
Calm down. Don't try and Tiger Woods this. Let me calm down. I'll come up with a side bet. We'll think.
Okay. All right. Good enough. So we're gonna go to a bantamweight fight. Kev, it's on you right now. It is Brad Katona versus Matthew Lopez? That's a boring name. All right. Anyway, go on, Kev. 15 on you.
Matthew Lopez was very close to Mario Lopez.
That's what I'm thinking.
His cousin. They've never got along. I have got to go against my better judgment and go with Katona because that was my favorite character on Mortal Kombat. She was awesome.
Katana.
It's a he. Whatever. Sounds good.
I was gonna try and shoehorn a My Katona kind of reference, but I was like, I think that's really pushing it. And then you come in with a katana. Yeah, exactly. But then you came in with a katana reference, and I was like, Raph, always follow your instincts. Just 100% do what you think in your fight. Let's do this, Gabe. Who do you got? 15 seconds.
I'm going to go with Matthew Lopez on this. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado. Yeah, I mean, he's lost the last 2 in a row, so hopefully he gets this one. I got you, Matthew Lopez.
Kev, were you...
Ouch.
Did someone hurt you in the background? Or
I didn't know he was from Denver. I don't know. I should have been so brazen.
Self-inflicted wound.
I'm out of Denver tonight. That feels like I failed a little bit there because I didn't know that. So
I'm so sorry,
nice
Kevin.
factoid, Gabe. Thank you for that.
You're good. Right when I read it, I was like, oh, perfect. There you go.
Oh, man, that was like the dagger twist that he did at the end, Kev. He was waiting. He was slow playing the hands all the way through so that he could really land those knockout blows toward the end. That's a really good striking strategy, if I'm saying so. Gabe, why don't you continue this? You're going to take the lead on who wins between Olivier Abuddin Mercier versus Gil Burns. Go.
Olivier Mercier, he's got to be Canadian. I'm going to go with Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns. Yes, another Brazilian. I'm going Gilbert Burns. Definitely. Got him.
Kev, who do you got on this one? 15.
Well, I am a jiu-jitsaka, of course, and that Canadian mustache is pissing me off. Gilbert Dorino Burns and his jiu-jitsu wizardry will prevail in this fight over Canada. I'm going to agree with our weaker.
I'm going to say this real quick because you guys have agreed on a lot more. Kev,
a few, not a lot. Calm down.
Yeah.
Not a lot, like 2 or 3.
I'm saying, you agree more with him than you did with Milton. Is this kind of you against the rope strategy that you just don't want to lose, Kev, or what's happening here?
And he got very lucky, and I think he
really
that.
did.
I think
and you know what? Kev, I don't know if you know this, but ever since you put the fear of verbal tap in Milton, I have noticed he has toned it down a little bit. He doesn't proclaim things as wildly as he used to. Just saying. So
broken.
You might not have won that battle, but the war is looking very
The
good
war
for you.
wages on. You match wits with me one time. You know you're dealing with a real Andre Agassi, if you will, style of smack talk. But enough about me, Raph. We have another
Fair
fight
enough.
to do.
We've got 30 seconds on the clock for this main event fight, which I'm excited about. And I'm intrigued to hear where you guys go. It's 30 seconds on the clock for the main event, which is Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Kevin, I give you the 30 seconds. Go.
We might agree one more time because that belt's on the wrong waist, which is a statement I have only said one other time in my life, and she knows she stole my belt. I am choosing Brian T. City Ortega, 14-0, headed into a contest with a lot of momentum. He's Caribbean Pirates without the shitty sequels. Brian T. City Ortega.
Gabe, what do you got for us? 30 seconds on the clock for you.
I feel bad because for the main event, I wanted to disagree, but I do agree. I think Brian Ortega is taking this. T-City has been on a tear, and I do think that he's improving his stand-up every day, and I think that he will go in there and do very well against Max Holloway. I love Max. I'm a big fan, but also he took a picture with Drake, and that's like the dust touch. So I got T-City Ortega.
Nobody brought that up on the analysis yet, and I was really waiting to see if that would come and play a role. That's actually the best analysis.
Right when I saw it, I was like, oh, he's screwed.
There's a photo, Kev, it's like a meme of Alistair Overeem running away from Drake. And it's like, hey, I want to take a picture with you. And it's just Overeem just running as far as possible from him. And I thought it was very funny because the Drake curse lives on. Gents, this is interesting.
Curse really does live on.
It really does. And I feel it's going to follow us for years because it looks like he's not going anywhere for a while, unfortunately. He's here for now. What? I don't know. That's what he does. Kids, here's what I'm telling you. We're at the point where we need to do tiebreakers, and this might become a very important thing for us. The way we do tiebreakers is I ask you who will have the two performances of the night and the fight of the night. Gabe, we start with you. Who do you think will be given two of the performances of the night and the fight of the night as well? Go on.
I think performance of the night will probably be. I want to say performance of the night will be T-City and Valentina. I think that the two main events, I think Valentina will put on a great show, and I think so will T-City. As far as fight of the night, I think the Bosniak Hakeem Dawadu is going to be a big fight.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't seeing that one coming out of. All right. Kev, what do you got first?
Bosniak throws down.
Okay. Performance of the night one goes to Alex Oliveira. Obviously.
Okay.
No way.
Audible. You calm down back there. Performance of the night two goes to Jessica I. He's putting way too much stock in the main card. Classic rookie mistake. Fight of the night goes to Holloway Ortega.
Okay.
That was easy. Easy money.
All right. So you've had some time to think now. Gabe, do you have a wager that you would like to make with Kevin?
Okay. I've had a little bit of time to think. The wager for podcast commercials is fair, except you guys are way more established. So instead, I will post something on Instagram about how Kevin got these picks right, and he beat me.
That's not bad, Kev. I do like that.
I accept for a podcast read about you besting me and clearly being a superior man and thus deserving of a commercial. That is a fair trade for he bested me, and is obviously the listener to of you should go to your Instagram audience. I accept these terms, Raph.
May I add one little caveat here?
Yes.
We already told you, no hand jobs. You said this last time and it was weird. You say it again and I'm going to... No,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Your
What's
eyes
the-
say yes, so don't tell me that you're saying no. You
Verbal
fucking-
Tap Legal has come into the room. They've said I've crossed the line and they've asked me to cease and desist on the... That was
Fair
my bad,
enough.
guys. Sorry to the lawyers.
The little caveat I'd like to put is, so Gabe, what you should do is come up with a great tip for one Kevin Phillips, who is coming back for injury, which would be very helpful because,
shit, yeah. Good call, Raph.
he's got a little bit of, I mean, you could really just pick anything. He's kind of like the operation board right now, where you just kind of go like, I think his wrist hurts. And he'd probably be like, you are correct. And I'd be like, damn, I didn't even know about that one. So we can work out
Get the
those details.
tweezers.
We can work out those.
I've got
details
my
as we go.
gown.
But yes, we would be happy to do a commercial for you, and we'd make it worth your while. So let's do this, Gabe. The way this works is we always invite our folks who come on this week's episode to come back next week. Would you like to come back on the show after this week's UFC 231 to talk about the fights?
Absolutely. So I can come back and talk more smack.
Well, I mean, some smack would be better than some more.
Some.
So I
Some.
feel like
Some.
next week,
Some.
if you
Some.
come in and you do something, and here's the other thing, Kev, we haven't talked about this. I don't know if this is one of the times where you said there's a side bet where he could beat Milton. Like, how much do you think he could actually beat Milton? Do you think there's an over-under on that?
100%. And the over-under is at minus, I'd say 8 for this wise thinking gentleman, because he agreed with at least 4 of mine. So,
Okay.
off to a lucky start. We'll see how the refs are, Raph, and the dick pill testing. We'll see. We'll see what's
Fair
going
enough.
on with the UFC 231.
I already
I like
texted
him,
Milton,
though.
and
Not that
I
it's
told
important.
him that you would be on this week. So I'm intrigued to see how he's going to badger you for your picks to make sure how he does against you, even though it's a different pay-per-view. Let me ask this, Gabe. Where
Yeah.
can the people find you? Where can they reach you? And what do you have going on for the holidays in case they want to get some training with you in?
If you want to get some training in, or you just want to learn about anything related to the team, anything 10th Planet Van Nuys or GCal Fitness, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere at GCAL Fitness. That's GCal Fitness. I talk shit to everybody on Instagram on there and post little helpful fitness stuff. And if you want, check out the podcast, GCal Fitness, 5 Minutes to Fit. And that's it.
Badass. Well, sir, we appreciate it. And Instagram, what was that handle one more time?
GCAL Fitness, FITNESS.
Find the man. Feel better about yourself in 2019. Thank you so much, Gabe, for swinging by the podcast this evening, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Raph, fun podcast. We're going to wrap it because the Chargers and the Steelers are approaching. I'm just kidding. That's nothing to do with them. There's a sandwich downstairs that I'm about to pack it on. It's time for some shout-outs. I got in touch with the Jubera crowd. He's as polite as ever and nice, Raph, so it's actually happening now. This is real. Can't take it back. I am going to be starting jiu-jitsu. Also headed to Portland this week. So shout out to Portland. Headed to go eat on the Northeast. Had to do some work, upper. Cannot wait, but that's going to do it for me, Raph. All yours.
All right, here's a few shout-outs that we want to go ahead and cover. First and foremost, Valley Martial Arts Center. I also want to give a shout-out to 10th Planet Van Nuys. Got some great training out there this week.
Very nice.
The Los Angeles Jiu-Jitsu Club. Went to go train there as well. Went to go train over at the Jog Center with our good friend Kit Dale and John Evans. And guys, in some capacity, I'm not exactly sure just what yet, I will be at this year's Nogi Worlds. So be sure to come say hello. If you're looking for places to train, hit me up. I can try and put you in the best direction of places as I normally do. Just a couple last little minute things that I want to make sure that you guys know. Check out Grappling Hour. We're going to have a new interview up every day. So all of the interviews that we've done, we're going to unlock them on YouTube. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to see some of the interviews we've done, we have some big names. We have interviews with like Christos Yagos, who just won this weekend. We have Brandon McCaffrey, who was just on. We have Craig Jones, who was on freaking recently. We have all these people that we would love you to go ahead and support and do all the things where you kind of like add us on your Facebook and on your Instagram at Grappling Hour, Twitter too, all the things. So that's going to take us to, I guess, our last shout out, which is a big shout out to all of our friends over at Street Sports. Our good friend Kenny Bond unfortunately passed away over the weekend. We will talk a little bit more about it on this week's Grappling Hour, but I wanted to send our definite thoughts and sympathies to everybody from the Street Sports family. Kenny was a very, very nice person to all of us in the SoCal community, and he very famously was competing 3 months after having brain surgery at the 2017 Pans. So if that's not significant, I don't know what else is. Of course, he has 2 young boys, a lovely wife that he leaves behind, and also a plethora of black belts and lower belts at his gym who are just monsters. So again, we're going to talk a little bit more about it this week on Grappling Hour, but it wouldn't feel right unless we're able to say a few nice words about a man who was very generous to both myself, many of the people who I know, and just a host of competitors who had nothing to say but great things for that former Marine. And I think, my friends, that'll do it for me too.
That'll do it for us tonight here at Verbal Tap. I am Kevin. Thank you for listening.
Good night and good fight.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is